hearts sing out your praise forever. And Jesus, I need you every moment. I need you here now. This praise for hearts sing out your praise forever. Remembrance, Christ before me, Christ behind me, your loving kindness has never failed. Christ before, let's sing it out. Remembrance, Christ before me, Christ behind your loving kindness has never failed me. Christ before me, Christ behind. Remember mercy, Christ before me, Christ behind me, your loving kindness has never failed me. Christ before me, Christ behind me. Jesus, I need you every moment. I need you. Good morning, everyone. It's time already, and we want to begin today's class. So now, yesterday we were doing dilation, and we started and to generally talk about what dilation was. Right? I did take a look at your exits, guys. I had to. I'm sorry, but some of you were really honest in your exit slip yesterday, and a lot of you mentioned about the 5/4 mistake that almost everybody made, right? um but it's good to always um have little laughs when we have class. So today I want to start the class off, and I know that I don't think that any of you have asked me this question before, but I don't want to do an introductory activity that has to do with yesterday's class. I want to do something a little bit differently. And I have a question there. It says, what was learning math like for Miss Mai? Have any of you wondered that? How were my math teachers? You guys, if I ask you guys, how was your math teacher? All of you are going to talk about me because mostly I have taught most of you from first to third. And I think two people mentioned that in their celebration of learning that I have been your teachers since first form for
Yes, I
most
hope
of
you
you.
will teach us in fourth form too.
And I was thinking, what would happen if you guys had another math teacher next year? And let's say that I don't want to teach for next year, and you guys have another math teacher next year. Would your idea of math be different? Um,
It will depend how the other teacher teaches.
so I have this question here because I don't think that anybody has asked me this question. And last night I was listening to a podcast. I don't know if you guys know what a podcast is, like a radio recording that people do. And I was listening to this podcast for math teachers, and then this person was, um, how do you expect your students to love math if you didn't really love math when you were in high school? And then I started to think about it. And I was thinking about your celebrations of learning. And I was thinking about how have I been teaching you guys for this past cycle. And then I started to think about it. And they posed this question: what was math like when you were learning it? And I was thinking about when I was in first form, and when I was in second form, and third form, and fourth form, and when I was in primary school, because math starts from there. And I'm gonna take just like maybe 2 or 3 minutes to talk about this, because if I were to tell you guys all of my math teachers, I had a lot of different math teachers. Um, in primary school, my parents are primary school teachers, so my mom likes English, like language. She's like a phonics teacher, and she teaches infants, kids, and I don't have patience for those kinds of kids. But she teaches like small little kids, and she teaches them how to read, and that's what she loves. On the other hand, my dad, he teaches upper, so he teaches 5 and 6. And my dad is a math. He's math problem solving. That is his area, and that is what he likes. So when I was in primary school, and I don't know, you guys took PSC. I was getting ready for PSC. From since when I finished standard 3, I did not have a normal summer break. Standard 4, standard 5, standard 6, my dad was there. My dad used to give extra classes. He used to tutor. So when he had tutoring, I was taking tutoring classes Monday to Friday. So after school, I would come home and I would have school again. And then for summer, my dad would tutor, and I would be for taking summer classes. And it was math problem solving, math problem solving. That was it. And I was taking classes. So I had this idea because of my dad that I had to pass math. And when I went to high school, I went to Muffles in Orange Walk. And um, when I got my report card, I could have failed everything. And that was not important to my dad. My dad thought, if you pass math, okay, I'm happy if you pass math. I don't really care about the other subjects. But my mom was like, you have to pass everything. So I had these two different parents with the ideas of what school was. But in high school, I had very good teachers. In first term, I had this math teacher. She was a little bit older. She was very, very strict. She was like, you have to have everything perfect in math. You're working, your work is neat, and she was okay. In second farm and third farm and fourth farm, I had male teachers. And after that, first farm was the only female teacher I had. After that, I had male teachers in second farm, in third farm, and in fourth farm. And when I went to sixth farm, I majored in math because my dad wanted me to. Math wasn't the area that I wanted. When I went to CJC, I wanted to take biology because I liked my biology teacher, and I was no as it's biology was I was doing great in biology. I was failing chemistry basically. Never not failing. A C is a failing for me. So I wasn't doing good in chemistry, and I was doing good in math because I had to. But when I went to sixth form and I had this paper applying for it, um, I was gonna apply for biology only, and my mom says, "Take chemistry." I was like, "Okay, I'll take chemistry," and my dad was like, "Make sure that you take math." So I this ended up being a triple major biochem math. It's not fun to be a triple major, guys. There were days that I started class 8 o'clock and I finished until 5 o'clock, and there was no lunch break. So when I was coming out of one class, I would run to the cafeteria, buy a sandwich or something, and while I'm walking to my other class, I was eating before I went into the other class. And when I came out 5 o'clock, I had to walk from CJC to Carousel Town to catch the bus to go to Orange Walk. So it was not fun being a triple major back then. I think right now it's a little bit more lighter to, because it's online. Um, but then when I went to sixth form, I had a math teacher that I really, really liked. And it was because of this math teacher that I decided to be a math teacher as well. I remember one time um, I was doing a presentation, a group presentation. And you know what? You go with your friends and you want to do presentation with your friends. I was with my friends and we had to do fraction problems. It was like a big algebra problem where you had fractions at the top and fractions at the bottom, and it was like advanced math. We were doing calculus, and then my friend, she got stuck solving the problem, so I went in and I explained it. And then afterwards, the teacher told me, Christy, have you thought about being a teacher because you can explain good? And then after that, I started thinking about, I haven't really thought about what I wanted to be. And I was taking bio, I was taking chem, I was taking math. And what am I going to do with biochem and math? I had never thought about it. I was just studying for studying fun, I think. And then that was the teacher that inspired me to be a math teacher. But overall, I had very good math teachers um, that would joke around, that would play around. And I always had teachers that made math fun for me. And not including my dad. My dad is not one of those teachers. My dad is somebody who's like, okay, you came to do math, we're gonna do math. He's more a business kind of guy. But in school, I had very good teachers that taught me very good, um, and made the class fun for me. And that is what I think all of these math teachers, I teach certain ways because I had these teachers and they taught me like that. And that's why you have this product of Miss Maya and how Miss Maya teaches you math because of these teachers that I had. But all along the way, I had very good math teachers. And when I went to UB in university, I had even better teachers, fun teachers that I had that made the class, even though we were doing advanced math, but I had fun and I enjoyed my class. And even though there were male teachers, and some students have the idea, okay, you have a male math teacher, it's not gonna be a fun class. But believe me, male math teachers make math class even fun, more fun. Um, but that was what math was like, learning math for me. Um, and I could give you guys examples and the things that whoosh in sixth form. For example, just to close out what I'm talking about right now, in sixth form, that is where I met my past husband, and we were dating since sixth form, and that is when I met him. So my he was also a triple major, so we took all of the classes together, and every single day that we had math, the math teacher had to say something about us because we were the only couple in the class. Um, and if right now he doesn't teach at CJC, he teaches in St. John's. But if he if he were to know that I am a math teacher, he would have said, I told you you are gonna be a math teacher because I haven't talked to him recently. But that is what math was like for me as I was growing up, and I um now I'm not gonna tell you more. You want to know more about the last part? I'm not gonna tell you more about that. But that was math learning for me as a student, right? When I finished sixth form, I was 17. I started first form when I was 11. Um, I graduated high school. I was in fourth form. I was 15 in fourth form. I was 15 in sixth form. I was really, 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 really young. Repeat again, ever? I was 11 when I started first form. My it's I started Okay, it all started. I started infant one when I was 3 years old. My parents decided to put me in infant one, and then I didn't fail any classes. So when I graduated, standard six, I was 11, and my birthday is in September, so I started first farm when I was still 11. Um, I graduated when I was 15, and I started sixth farm when I was 15. So calculating all of that, when I started teaching at Cornerstone, I was 19 years old. Um, that was 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. So that's about Miss Mai and Miss Mai's math experience. That wasn't everything, right? I'm just giving a brief summary because of time. But yeah, that was the activity that I wanted you guys to do with you guys today, just to change it. Siga, 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 right? And then when you don't
Tiene un clase
finish,
entero, mis.
and then when you don't finish the math work, everybody's gonna be messaging Miss Mai, no entiendo, Miss Mai, no sé cómo hacerlo. I know you guys prefieren allá estar escuchando, escuchando, escuchando. Anyways. Miss, I wish, Miss, I gotta work, Miss. Yo creo me work, yo creo. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about scale factors. Yesterday I kind of mentioned what a scale factor was. I kind of messaged what a scale message now. I kind of mentioned what a scale factor was yesterday. Um, but what we want to do today is how to calculate for a scale factor, and that is what we're going to concentrate in today's class. So now a scale factor in math, because if we use a scale factor, for example, in architecture, it has a different idea to it, but it's related. A scale factor in math is the ratio between corresponding measurements of an object and the representation of an object. So, scale factors are used in real life a lot. For example, if you have a truck, a real life one, and for example, somebody owns a toy company, you have to use a scale factor so that you can take this real life vehicle and produce a smaller version of it. And that is how a scale factor works in real life. um, but when we want to calculate it and when we want to define it, yesterday we talked about this idea that if you have a whole number a bigger than one, then your image automatically gets bigger. And if you have something that is less than one, then your image automatically gets smaller, right? And then when you talk about scaling and scale factor, you have to have a scale where you can either scale up, meaning you make it bigger, or you can scale down and make it smaller, right? So now, using that idea, we want to be able to um, do some of the questions that are in the first worksheet. So, if I were to tell you guys that these are your 2 points and I want you guys to give me these new points using a scale factor of 2, what did we say yesterday you have to do for you to get a new ordered pair? Anybody remembers? What do we have to do to the 1, to the 1, to the 3, to the 1 using the 2?
Times.
Very good. We have to multiply. So if I were to tell you guys that I want you guys to give me the new point for A and the new point for B, what is 1 times 2? And 1 times 2?
Two.
So my
Two, miss.
new
Two.
point for A is going to be 2, 2, because I did 1 times 2 and 1 times 2. And I'm going to be doing the same thing for B. For me to get my new point for B, I'm going to do 3 times 2 and 1 times 2. What is that going to give me?
6 and
Six
2.
and one.
Six and one.
Six and two.
6 and 2. 1 times 2 is 2, right? So we're going to have our new points being 2, 2, and 6, 2. Did everybody understand that?
Yes.
And these are the questions from the worksheet, right? So if you guys are taking a look at learning activity 1, I'm taking these questions from there. Now, looking at this one, my scale factor is 3/4. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I have to do 4 times 3/4, 4 times 3/4, 8 times 3/4, and 12 times 3/4. All right? So, what is 4 times 3/4?
3.
Very good. Very good. So, I am gonna have 4 times 3/4 is 3, and 4 times 3/4 is 3 again. So, my new point is gonna be 3, 3. What is 8 times 3/4?
6.
8 times 3/4 is gonna be 6. And then 12 times 3/4?
9.
9. Very good. So my new point for B is gonna be 6, 9. Everybody getting the idea of what we're doing?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so I'm gonna post another one. Let's see. No, sorry. I'm gonna put one in the chat and I would like you guys to send your answers. Right? One moment. I'm gonna give you guys C is equal to 4, 5. 4, 5. And the D is equal to 3, 12. And I want you guys to give me the new points under a scale factor of 4. Go ahead and put your answers in the chat. C is 4, 5, D is 3, 12, and I would like that under a scale factor of 4. What would that be? Okay, let's see. C, I see several answers already in the chat. C should have been 1620. Let's see, 1620. 1620, 1620. Very good. And then D should have been 10. Sorry, 1248. 1248. 1248. 1248, guys. Um, 12 times 4 is 48, right? Just multiplication mistakes, but you were getting the idea. So now scale factor, when we want to scale up or scale down, and we are doing the opposite now. Like they give you a shape or they give you a point, they give you point A and they give you point A1, and they tell you, give me the scale factor now, right? So this is what we want to do now. So If they tell you, and in math, general math, when we are doing similar figures, if they tell you that you are going from a small image to a big image, you are scaling up. And because you are scaling up, the bigger number goes at the top and the smaller number goes at the bottom. And you have to be careful with this idea. When we are scaling up, and let me put it in the chat. When you are scaling up, the bigger number at the top and the smaller number at the bottom. And why do we do this? Because when we are taking a small image and we want to go to a big image, we have to have a whole number as our answer, right? If we were to do it the opposite, where the small number is at the top and the big number is at the bottom, we would be getting a decimal. So when we are scaling up, the bigger number is at the top and the smaller number is at the bottom, and then we reduce, we cancel out, we divide until we have a scale factor um, that is non-reducible further. And if we do this for scaling up, for scaling down, now we do the opposite. So when we are scaling down, the smaller number goes at the top and then the bigger goes at the bottom. So we have to have these ideas in mind when we are doing this. When we are scaling up, the bigger number goes at the top and the smaller number goes at the bottom. And when we are scaling down, so when we have a big image and we're making it smaller, then the smaller number goes at the top and the bigger number goes at the bottom. Right? And so now you have this idea where you have scaled up. So if I tell you, okay, have this small triangle and I want to make it bigger, the bigger number is at the top and the smaller number is at the bottom. And if I'm doing the opposite, where I have a big shape and I'm making it smaller, the smaller number goes at the top and the bigger number goes at the bottom. And then you can see the difference, where when you are scaling up, you have a whole number, and when you are scaling down, you have a fraction, right? Now, let's practice this idea. If I give you guys a question that has 3, 4, and 9, 12, these are my points. Point A is my original point, and then it changed, and now it's become point R. Just by looking at this 3, 4, 9, 12, did it go from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller?
Small to big.
From small to big. Very good. Now, if it went from small to big, that means I am scaling up, right? And I'm going to use the x's first, and the x's are 3 and 9, and the y's are 4 and 12. These are the numbers that I'm going to be using together. If I am scaling up, I am making it bigger. That means that the bigger number goes at the top. So if I have 3 and 9, which number is bigger?
9.
9.
9. And the smaller number goes at the bottom. So I have 3. And what is 9 divided by 3?
3.
3.
And what would that 3 be?
Half.
9, 3 equals 10.
And what is k?
The one that you will divide me.
Are you guys looking at this slide? What is the title of that slide?
The scale factor, miss.
Very good. The scale factor. K is the scale factor. So,
Yun, yun.
you are not understanding?
No, es que ayer yo no entré casi cuando se quitan haciendo.
Okay, so you would have to. Yesterday we talked about dilation, enlargements, and reductions. So you would have to go back and view that so that you could understand what we're doing today with this calculating of a scale factor. But Let's see. Would it be easier if you guys see me writing this? I think you guys are used to seeing that.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Okay. Let's see if I can open a Jamboard for you guys. Okay. So let me share this instead. Okay, can you guys see the Jamboard?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, so the question that I had given to you guys was that A is 3, 4, and then A changed to R being 9, 12. And we are looking for K. What is the scale factor? Right? Now, what you guys have to do is that we have to be able to match our numbers. We want to work with X's together, and then we want to work with Y's together. Right? So we can't work with 3 and 12 and 4 and 9. We have to work with 3 and 9, which are the X's, and 4 and 12, which are the Y's. And we had already said that if I go from 4 to 12, it is getting bigger. And then the same thing if I go from 3 to 9, it's getting bigger. The number gets bigger, right? So what happens here now is that I am scaling up. And if you go to the chat, what I had in the chat for scaling up is that the bigger number goes at the top and then the smaller number goes at the bottom. And this will tell me how to find K. So now I am looking for K. And if I work with 3 and 9, which one is the bigger number?
9.
9,
9. Which one is the smaller number?
3,
3.
3. And what is 9 divided by 3?
3,
3.
3.
And 3 is my scale factor. And I can cross check my answer. I do the same thing with the x's. 12 over 4. What does that give you?
3.
3. And then these answers match. So my scale factor for this question is going to be 3. Was it clear? A little bit more clear now?
Yes, miss. It was.
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. So let me go to the second one. Second question is A is equal to 9, 12, and now it becomes 6, 8. Looking at these ones now, am I scaling up or am I scaling down?
Scaling
Down.
down.
Very good. I am scaling down. Now, I need to be able to identify that the 9 and the 6 are going to be together and that the 12 and the 8 are going to be together as well. So, looking at that idea now, I am going to find K. And because we are scaling down, the small number goes at the top and the big number goes at the bottom. All right, this is what I had put in the chat as well. So if I look at 9 and 6, which one is smaller?
6.
6. So 9 goes at the bottom. And what is 6 divided by 9? Or if I reduce that, what do you get?
3 miss.
You can reduce by 3, okay? So if I reduce 6 and 9 by 3, what will be my new answer?
2/3.
2/3. Very good. And I can cross check that answer with the second one, where I put 8 over 12. If I reduce 8 over 12, what number goes into 8 and 12?
4.
4.
4 miss.
And then if I do 4 into 8 goes 2 times, 4 into 12 goes 3 times, and I can see that my answers match. So K is equal to 2 over 3 for this question. Yes? Any questions, guys? Do I move on to the other one?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
No. Yes.
Okay.
Miss, that is the activity.
Yes, these are the questions from the activity. Okay, this one. Did I move to the other side? Okay. This one is the third question, and you have point A being -2, -3, and this is going to -10, -15. Okay, now my question is, my question for this one now is, am I scaling up or am I scaling down?
Down.
Down miss. Scaling up.
Is it scaling down or scaling up?
Down.
Why would it be scaling down?
It's scaling up miss.
Why would it
If
be
they're
scaling
negative
up?
numbers, means when you go further
We're
down,
trying to
it
get
goes
to
higher.
positive miss.
We are scaling down because -2 is bigger than -10, right? If you go on your number line, -2 is bigger than -10. Yes? Everybody remembers that? -2, -3, -4. You more that you go to that side, the smaller it becomes, the number becomes smaller. Right? So I am scaling down. And I need to identify -2 with -10 and -3 with -15. And I'm gonna search for K. If we scale down, what do I put at the top?
Smaller
-2.
number.
The smaller number. And then at the bottom, I have the bigger number. Right? Yes?
Yes miss.
So I'm having -10 over -2. What does that give you?
-5. Miss.
-10 divided by -2. Is it -5 or +5?
5 means
Positive.
+5. Now, let's take a moment to look at this question, and we're only going to discuss this question, and I think that will be it for today. If I am scaling down, what should my answer be?
A fraction miss.
Did we get a fraction?
No miss.
no,
We
miss.
get a whole number.
So, is this answer correct?
No. No.
Yes, no, maybe?
No say miss.
You don't know?
We shouldn't be 5/1.
But 5 over 1 is still 5. Okay, let us understand this question. The answer is correct, and we are scaling down, right? Now, we are scaling down in the sense that the numbers show that I am scaling down because I went from a bigger number to a smaller number. But when it comes to my graphing, and you have to be visual about this, when it comes to my graphing, the 5 is correct because if I am at -2, -3, let's say that I am here, and I move my point to -10, -15, I am moving it away. And because I am moving it away, the numbers become smaller, but my image becomes bigger. I'm not sure if you guys can visually see that. If I have a point that is at -2, -3, and you move that point to -10, -15, when it comes to the points, I am scaling down because I'm going from a bigger number to a smaller number. But when it comes to graphing, my image gets bigger. And this only applies when we have negative numbers. Anybody has any questions with that? Did you understand that? Were you able to? Yes? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let me see the PowerPoint. What did I have? Okay. That was basically it. Let me share my PowerPoint now. Okay, this was the last question, right? In your worksheet, you were supposed to have 3 questions like this. This was the last one, a scale drawing. Now, this one was real life application, what I had mentioned in the beginning of the class, where you have a real life thing and you want to make it into a toy. That is an example of using a scale factor in real life. And this one, we're going to start with this one tomorrow in tomorrow's class. And today's exit, and I just want to do this very quickly. And once you type in your answer in the chat, you guys are free to leave. Nobody is telling me that I'm not sharing the screen of the PowerPoint. Mm, okay. This is the PowerPoint. I had mentioned that this was the last question. Scale drawing, what I had talked about in the beginning of the class. And then these ones, we're going to start tomorrow's class with this one. You need graph sheet for tomorrow's class, so please have that ready. Today's exit slip. How do you feel after today's class? And this will determine how I do my class tomorrow. Do you feel like you're moving on a dirt road where everything is unclear? It's a bumpy road because you didn't understand what we did today. Are you on a paved road where you can go, okay, I understood, I just need more practice? Or are you on a racetrack where everything is great and we can move on tomorrow without any problems? So choose one, a dirt road, a paved road, a racetrack. Send it in the chat. Once you have sent it in the chat, you guys are free to leave. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I see most of you are on a paved road. I'm going to review this tomorrow just to have a clear idea before we go into the graphing. But please have graph sheet, ruler, pencil tomorrow. Okay? You are free to leave.
Bye, miss.
Bye.
Bye, miss.
Bye. We're going to do them tomorrow, Herbie.